Okay, y'all. Today at the sit down with Slim, we have a special guest today. Um, he comes from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm so proud of him because I'm proud of him because he is. Me and him talked about a lot of things that we wanted to do in the future, and now we're bringing all this stuff into light. And I talked about the shop. He talked about his practice, and we're bringing all that to light. Here I have Sean Wilson, attorney Sean Wilson. Um, um, Graduated from Charleston, College of Charleston.
Absolutely.
Um, then he went on to go to Charleston School of Law.
Yeah.
Graduated, one of the top prominent schools here in the nation. And now he just started his own practice, Law Offices of Sean M. Wilson, LLC,
Correct.
where he does workman's comp, wrongful death. What else do you do?
Personal injury. I'm helping a lot of people in auto accidents, trucking accidents, workers' compensation, wrongful death work. I do some construction, civil litigation. I'm a trial lawyer. That's what I do.
Okay.
And helping families who have been devastated by whether it's catastrophic injury. People need help. You look at it. I'm a counselor, but I'm also a family friend, confidant. I do so many things. I can't really quantify it in one role.
Mm-hmm. So what made you want to get into practicing law?
One of the things about the practice of law, you and I talk about it a lot, just kind of growing up, and was a big in the history buff. That was something that was important for me as far as looking at the leaders like Thurgood Marshall, Martin Luther King, other people, Willie Gary, Johnny Cochran. Those were people who were pretty much inspirations to me. So I look at it from, I was always motivated by business, and I was always motivated by them, by the practice of law, because I felt like that was one aspect where I could really make change. Growing up, I wasn't the best athlete, so I knew realistically that wasn't going to be the route that I could take. Music wasn't really my best suit, even though you dabbled or tried it. But, I felt like practice of law, I always enjoyed reading, writing, articulating myself, and it just came natural.
I'm so proud of this guy, man. Like I said, this is my cousin. Me and him grew up together. We talked about this since we were young kids. We talked about our aspirations and things we wanted to do in life. And it just makes me so proud that, we both are striving for those things. And I'm glad he's here in Charleston with me, even though he's doing things throughout South Carolina. But I'm just happy that he's here in Charleston with me and we're able to do this interview. And I can kind of give him more exposure, especially here in Charleston. And I think that's very important, especially for Afro-Americans, Black Afro-Americans here in this country.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And so you hold a role here in Charleston. What role do you play in the Democratic Party?
Yeah, the Democratic Party, I'm the chair of Dorchester County Democratic Party.
Okay.
I took on that role last year in 2018. This is going into my second year right now, and
Wonderful.
it's a good time to be in that role because it's a pivotal time in history. We're going through something in politics where we have never seen in this particular country before, and for me to actually be playing a role, somehow motivating people to interact in the political process, it makes me feel good.
Okay. So with that, we're trying to get the communities involved. Tell me more.
Absolutely. The communities involved is important. Dorchester County is one of the larger counties in the state of South Carolina. It touches from here where this shop is all the way down to Interstate 95. Okay, so that's a pretty long stretch. Okay, so what you have is you have North Charleston, you have Ridgeville, you have St. George, you have Dorchester, the town, Somerville. You have a lot of different pockets, a lot of different demographics, and you know, we have to cover that whole entire county.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure that people know about the Democratic Party, making sure that people are knowledgeable about the candidates, making sure that people know that they can run for office, making sure that the Democratic Party is being promoted in this particular county.
And so you're doing that, you're going door to door? What kind of marketing, how are you doing, how are you getting the word out?
Well, we utilize social media.
Okay.
We have a meeting we have bylaws and we go through the state convention process. We have a meeting every second Monday of the month. So
Okay.
our next meeting is tomorrow in Somerville at Balm Temple AME Church, which has graciously allowed us to host our meetings there. And we have the state convention coming up in June.
Okay.
And we just had a series of events, and we will have more events coming up because 2020 is a pivotal election year and it's right around the corner.
Okay. And so a few weeks ago you guys had an oyster roast?
Yeah, we had an oyster roast in Somerville at the Somerville Country Club.
Okay.
It was 2 weeks ago. We had Congressman Jim Clyburn, who was there, who's a mentor of mine. We had Congressman Joe Cunningham, who's also a good friend of mine. We had Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio come down.
Wow.
And he was actually considering running for president. He just dropped out his name last week. And we had Senator Cory Booker, who's running for president in 2020. He came down. It was a good time. It was a fundraiser for us because in order for us to get out the vote, you know, we have to raise funds. We have to make sure that we are able to have our expenses paid, and the fundraisers are the only way that we can actually do it.
So the fundraisers are private events, or how does that work? How can people contribute towards the cause?
Well, we have an ActBlue link. We have a website, which is doordems.org. That's DORDEMS.org, doordems.org. We also have the Dorchester Democratic Party page on Facebook. Please like that and feel free to share anything. We try to keep you up to date with current events that's going on in the party. Whether or not it's events that we have, we try to promote it. We got another event coming up in Wassenaw Park and Somerville coming up on April 6th, I believe. It's a voter registration drive. We'll have Zandrina Riley, the singer. She's going to come out and sing and do a concert live. So, you know, we're active. We have a lot of people who say, well, I didn't know the Democratic Party existed in Dorchester County, but it's here. We have a lot of people that are there and participate.
Okay, that's good. And you also had a Dorchester Democratic breakfast.
That's correct. Yesterday, Saturday morning, we had a big Democratic breakfast in St. George at the Shady Grove Family Life Center, which is a beautiful facility in St. George, one of the larger halls where they can hold banquets. And thanks for the Shady Grove United Methodist Church for that, because it was a great facility. We had Senator Kamala Harris, who was actually running for president as well. Had the privilege of meeting her a few weeks ago. Very, very nice. And I told her that we were having an oyster roast, and she said, you know, looking at the schedule, I don't think I'll be able to make the oyster roast, but she said, you know, Sean, I'll be back in Dorchester County and I'll make it up to you. And she called me the Friday before the oyster roast and said, hey, I want to come to Dorchester County. I said, yeah, you're more than welcome to do so. So I really appreciate her keeping her word and coming back as fast as she did. We had a good turnout, and what we had was a breakfast and what we call a meet and greet. So she worked the room, got a chance to take pictures with everybody, you know, whole personal, brief conversations, obviously, because time, and she had to be here in North Charleston for the Black Expo. So she spoke to the crowd, she answered all the questions, and, you know, that was a good event for us. We raised some funds, and hopefully we can also have more candidates come out. We had Marianne Williamson, who is Oprah's spiritual advisor. She came in town.
Wow.
And Somerville few weeks ago and got a chance to meet her, talk to her about some of the views. We have several candidates that are running, so hopefully between now and February 2019, which is February 29, 2019 is the primary election day for South Carolina, which we are first in the South. So hopefully I'll get a chance to meet all of the candidates, really feel them out and inform people about them. As the chair, we have to remain neutral, but my job is to make sure that we are informing the people about these candidates. And so if they come, that gives them an opportunity to really promote themselves and articulate their campaign.
Okay. So I want to ask you this. Okay, I want to ask you what would you tell young kids? Because right now it seems like you're rubbing shoulders with all these people that's like these big name key role people in the political Democratic Party or all over the nation. So first of all, how does it feel now to be in that place to where you've worked up to this point and now you're meeting these people? How does it feel to rub shoulders with these people and to talk to these people that's in these high positions?
You know, it's a blessing, and it's a blessing to be able to do so. To whom much is given, much is required. So, you know, I thank God for that, because without him, you know, it wouldn't be possible. So that's important, making sure that you kind of take the opportunity to learn from them and, you know, get to know them on a level where, because they meet so many people, but I like the opportunity just to really learn from them and watch them and admire their work, because it takes a lot of courage for them to run for president or run for political office, even locally. I got so many friends that are in office here in the United States, South Carolina, so it takes a lot of courage to be in that leadership role, and so I admire them for doing so, and just grateful to be able to get to know them and learn from them.
But I imagine it takes a lot for you to stand up there, not only as an attorney, but you know, just to be that figure. Like, what did you get that from? Like, did you always want to do this as a child? And if not, what would you tell a kid that, you know, wants to be in your position one day? I mean, you know, is it hard work, or I mean?
Oh yeah, it's a ton of work. You know, I'm putting in a lot of hours. You know, self-care is important, so I got to make sure that you have that balance and rest. Obviously, proper rest, but you're putting in a lot of hours. You're doing a lot, and you really have to make sure that you are carefully planning your day, so your calendar kind of fills up with legal work, and then you never know, something might happen within the party where you kind of put that aside, start planning. So you have to learn how to improvise. I do a lot of speaking to kids. I'm not sure if you know that, but
I think recently you spoke at a school.
Yeah, last week I was at Burke High School, and then before that I was at mock trial coach for West Ashley High School. Next week I'll be in Columbia speaking at an elementary school, and I'm passionate about children. You know, that's something that I'm really passionate about. So I would tell them, and I always tell them, to never give up. You know, always stay encouraged. No matter how bleak it is, keep the faith. Make sure that they are always staying encouraged, making sure that they, no matter what the circumstances is, because, you know, you can come from any circumstances and you can overcome that. You know, things can get really, really rough.
Facts.
You know, and you know, while we grew up, we didn't grow up with a silver spoon under our
you
know, so you just gotta.
It was a lot harder for us, you know. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't a lot harder. We was coming from, you know, some tough circumstances.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, what doesn't kill you only make you stronger.
Absolutely, it only makes you stronger. And I tell the kids that, you know, I met a young lady. She was at Burke, man. She really, really inspired me. She said, you know, I'm a senior, going to Clark, Atlanta, and, you know, I'm just wanting to be in business, and I felt that. You know, I could tell how genuine it was from her, and I believe, based on what she told me, that she will be in business one day. She said she wants to get in real estate. I know that she's going to do all of that stuff, and you can feel it. And I speak to so many children out there that have that same passion. You know, I think we always get a bad reputation, and especially in the African American community with our children. But you know, a lot of these kids are smart. You know, they're passionate, and they don't know that if they follow that role and stay persistent, everything they desire, they can set out to do it.
Yeah. They can come to light.
Absolutely.
They can bring the light.
Absolutely.
I think that's very important, man. I think, like I said, with this video podcast or video interview, whatever you want to call it, I think that, you know, I want people to realize that, you know, people that look just like you and I.
Absolutely.
We're out here doing things, especially here in Charleston.
Absolutely.
And we're one of the most historic cities in the nation.
Absolutely.
You know, and this is where we need to make an impact.
Absolutely.
And you know, and I think if we can make an impact here, I think it'll trickle out amongst, you know, other cities and other cities here in the country. I think, you know, here in Charleston is a starting point. You know,
it's happening just because there's so much history, and you know, this is my second home. You know, I had low country roots. You know, my parents were raised 45 minutes away, an hour away in Georgetown. You know, that's where my roots were. I had so many family members here in Charleston, North Charleston, James Island, all over. So I mean, this is home for me as well. So, but you look at it and the historical value that the city has, you know, it's prestigious.
So the next 5 or 10 years, where do you see things moving? What do you see happening as far as you working with the party? What kind of things do you see happening? Because we need to know what's going to happen. We need to kind of see. We want to know, like, okay, what's going to happen, you know, so we can have an idea of, you know, kind of what's going on in the city. We need to know.
That's a challenging question because, you know, things change quickly, and you really have to carefully think that out. 5 years with the party, you know, I would like to see us get more elected officials.
So that's the goal. More elected.
More democratic elected
more
officials.
democratic elected officials.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get this clear. I just want to get that clear. Okay.
Yeah, more democratic elected officials. So I would like us to win some seats, whether it's a statewide role.
So we have another Democratic Party in the Charleston area.
Yeah, we have a Charleston area Democratic Party. We have a Berkeley County Democratic Party, and we're all united. You know, we have a state party. We fall under the state umbrella, but all 46 counties in the state has their own Democratic party as well. And
I didn't know that.
Both of Charleston and also Berkeley are both friends of mine.
So if you live in that area, that's where you come out to in that particular county.
You go to the meetings where
the meetings.
Yeah, they have meetings there, and you find out where it is, and you go to where that is.
So where can people find out about meetings in their particular county?
The internet. Social media. You look at it. If you live in Charleston County, you like the Charleston County Democratic Party. If you live in Berkeley County, you like the Berkeley County Democratic Party. Even if you call Dorchester Democratic Party or you reach out to us, we will point you in the right direction. That's what we're here for.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, it's been a pleasure, cuz.
Man, I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay encouraged, man, and you know I'm proud of you too.
I'm proud of you too, man. Like I said, man, this is the point of this video. This video podcast, whatever you want to call it, is to like highlight some of the individuals here in the city that looks like us.
Absolutely.
And you know, and you doing your thing, cuz, you know, I had to get you on the show.
I appreciate it.
It's the second episode, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
And I love what you're doing. I know that, you know, you're gonna do major things in the city, major things throughout the state of South Carolina, throughout the world.
I appreciate it.
And keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. And before we close, you know, we're having the law office of Sean Wilson is having an inaugural Shirley Jean Wilson, my mother who passed of breast cancer in 2015. We're going to do a Mother's Day brunch.
Okay.
So details for that will be coming out soon. I'm in the planning phase for it.
Let them know where they can find you. You want to give your number out?
Sure. The law office of Sean M. Wilson is located at 507 Savannah Highway, and my telephone number is 843-242-7622. Any of your auto accident, trucking accident, workers' compensation, med mal, wrongful death claims, legal needs, please feel free to call me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.